is the government gives them the drugs, builds bigger prisons, passes a 3-strike law, and then wants us to sing God Bless America? No, no, no. Not God Bless America. God damn America. That's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human. God damn America as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is supreme.
This is me trying to will myself into showbiz mode to do a podcast. Woo, it's podcast time. I still am very tired.
It's
today.
electric in here. I'm looking at Jake, his hair's standing on end.
Ooh, shit.
Ooh, shit.
No, I still feel like death. Man, I had a rough night last night. Not as rough, though, as the servers at the Balthazar restaurant. I don't know if you've heard about this.
You seen this?
You seen this, folks? James Corden got banned from this restaurant in Manhattan because he screams at waiters and stuff.
Now, was it a scream or maybe a breakdown section of a live carpool karaoke?
Oh, yeah, I guess he could have done carpool karaoke, like, meanly at someone.
He was just doing the freak on a leash scat section at his waitstaff until he gets what he wants.
He's like, you had to be a big shot, didn't you? You had to open up your mouth.
Wait, so what's his deal? Is he's a mean man?
Apparently he's really rude to
Man announced.
Like service workers, service industry folks, and like he got banned for, I guess, I can't remember which one it was, but a bunch of stories kind of came out at the same time. One of them was like his wife ordered an egg yolk omelet and they sent it with whites in it or something.
A small tint of white.
I
or
have
it may have been a
strong
white
objection to the beginning of this premise, which is, what is an egg yolk omelet?
Right?
That does not exist.
What the fuck? How decadent?
Eat the whole egg. Yeah. What's wrong with you? You only want the part that's just like congealed fat?
He's British, man. They're weird people.
They want it because it's harder to make. It takes longer.
They want to do the like tortured bird ceremony to an egg, and it just doesn't work. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm forgetting the name of it, but the one where they like blind it and then feed it and then put it inside another bird. Oh. They torture a bird to death. And
a turducken?
No, not a turducken.
Bird box?
Yeah, Bird Box. Netflix is Bird Box.
I don't know what
British people are doing Bird Box to birds, and now they're doing it to eggs. How long will this indignity stand?
What the hell were you describing, though? Were they blind a bird and put it inside another bird?
I think that's a turducken.
No, a turducken is a bird inside another bird. The thing I'm describing is it's a decadent. I think it's French. Dish where you take a very specific kind of bird and feed it until it dies, essentially, and then it's like super fat and it tastes better. I'm forgetting part of this herb.
That's fucked up. I bet you get that at a nice restaurant like Balthazar.
There's no way I could get the word for this without Googling bird torture, but that's what I'm doing.
James Corden is like, I want a fat bird. A fat bird. A fat bird is the word. I said a bird, but sing with me. Sing with me. He's not singing.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And then remember when he flash mobbed people as the mouse from Cinderella? This guy's so fucking hateable. Like, it's very vindicating in retrospect because I just already kind of was like, I think this guy sucks. But he apparently, when he didn't get his yolk omelet or whatever, he says like, give me a round of drinks for free right now, or else I'll yelp you or whatever. Yeah, you can't. That's just stealing. I mean, you get comped sometimes in situations like that, but he just said, give me a round of drinks right now, free, or else I yelp you, And when this happened, I guess it went kind of viral, and so all these like other stories came out because a bunch of people were like, yo, here's what he did at my place. And apparently he's just a fucking weird nightmare and like screams at people in restaurants and stuff.
He also did carpool karaoke to me at my laundromat.
I would be traumatized.
He had it coming. He had it coming. He got a bad Yelp review. That's you.
Yeah. breaking the law, breaking the law.
While he's just like smashing their cash register, taking the money.
Oh, man.
And now, this is the obvious point too, but it's like, James Corden, you can buy 3 drinks.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
You're a TV person.
Why don't you have enough money?
I've seen so many videos of you annoying people on the street. I've never tried to watch your show.
It made me laugh really hard because I was him for Halloween 2 years ago.
Really?
I was his
Weaves
character
and
from
Cats,
Cats,
yeah.
Bustopher Jones.
Oh, yes.
And now I just
For the COVID Halloween.
yeah.
The darkest timeline.
That was when I had a lot of time to put into my Halloween costume. I did like a very attempt at accurate cat's weird cat human cat.
It was stunning. It was like you were Bustopher Jones.
Yeah. But I'm thinking about that Bustopher Jones every time I think about these poor servers
These poor
getting
servers.
screamed at, you know? And he's like, got his little top hat on.
He's just demanding made up foods.
I said catnip, please.
Maybe he's going to start going to cat cafes.
He should.
He's
do
going to
they
be
have
kicked
those
out of
in-
all the human ones.
He has to eat at cat cafes.
I was thinking of the cat cafes they have in Japan where you go and you sit and they bring you a cat.
To eat?
No, not to eat. Did you know they eat the cats? No,
Well, with your bird
I was
thing,
about to say,
the bird thing is a French thing, and those people are sick in the head. This is Japan. It's a whole other thing. They're the England of the East. And what they do is they have cafes you go to, and you get a nice coffee or what have you, and also you can pat a cat.
that's pretty cool. I like that. That's much better than this bird torture thing.
It's kind of
I
a
was thinking of,
nightmare
like-
because they then lock all the cats in the cafe and they live in like
man.
a weird prison. But yeah,
yeah. No, they're like strippers.
if you
kind
think
of.
about it, so does every indoor cat.
I think about that a lot with Murray. I'm just like, man, is it weird that he's just in this room forever? But then it's like,
I've had a lot of
Well,
outdoor
as
cats.
we've-
They die.
yeah,
They die a lot.
horrible
As
out
we've
there.
discussed, there is just he's surrounded by literature, basically, and entertainment
Right.
for his nose of sniffing.
Well, he has doing
I
cocaine.
hesitate to reopen the cat smelling is reading discussion, so I think we should probably move on.
Oh, I didn't even. I forgot. That,
It's Pod Damn America for another week.
because there's books everywhere.
Oh.
Oh yeah. I guess he's reading Sean's books.
No, he means because your house is full of smells.
Well, I
Reading
mean,
hella theory and stuff. And
Maybe-
he's gonna go on Antifada and talk about fucking Kropotkin or whatever.
it's I mean, we don't know that cats don't actually take in the words possibly through smell because their noses are so complex.
What?
Yeah, no,
What
we
is
don't,
letter-
your theory
we
here?
don't know that.
You can,
but
if you have a strong enough nose, you could probably tell each letter
So your
apart.
idea is that the books are written in smell as well, and so you can
I mean,
smell them and see them?
Does print not have a smell?
It has one smell.
Yeah, but if you have
they
a
don't have a
really-
scent per letter.
Yeah, the letters have different scents because they're different shapes.
That's not how smells work.
It's
though.
a different amount, and
This
it's the
This won't
shape
buy
at which
you
it hits
any
you.
leeway in court. You will never get this past a
The cat
jury of your
knew,
peers.
damn it!
you're no.
James Corden just like the cat knew.
The
He-
cat
he could
knew.
smell.
Bring me a couch to smell.
Or I yelp you. Or I yelp you is a very funny thing to say to a
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he said, or I'll yelp you.
Or I yelp.
Oh my god!
I yelp you. Oh god, it's just extra because he's British, so it's like he's I don't know. So he got this weird authoritative accent where he's gonna talk down to you. Also, I mean, not for nothing, but I work in service in Manhattan, which is where most of the tourists from Europe hang out, and yeah, they're not.
Let's say it.
They're not.
Let's get it on the pod.
They don't. A lot of them pretend like they didn't research tipping culture. And someone gave me a British guy gave me a fucking Sacagawea dollar the other day.
Wow!
Like, you know,
I
ordered
love
like,
to visit the continent and flip a silver dollary do at my serving man.
yeah. It's like,
Do you have any egg yolk omelette at the bar? You don't?
I said, give me a Budweiser. He ordered like $30 worth of drinks and then gave me a fucking sack of $1. I was like, where did you even get this?
That was it.
Yeah, like tossed a gold coin at me.
You drink boy, do you have any Guinness strained from a shoe? You don't have it set up. Then why don't come over here?
I mean, it is, and this is very stupid, I think, that they still do this, but in the UK, they do, a lot of their money is still coin. Like, they don't have, like,
It's
dollar
a backwards
bills.
place.
The smallest bill they have is for £5.
It's an island for sickos.
Yeah.
I'll say it. And
So
that's
you
why
just-
they lost Liz Truss, folks.
I mean, speaking of pounds, they turned into ounces, actually.
Talk about one tortured bird. This fine lady had to fly the coop.
She's blind and inside of another bird, folks. Throwing up or whatever the fuck.
You hear what I just said? She turned the pounds into ounces.
Oh, that's really
Inflation.
clever, actually. It took a minute to land because it was so intellectual. But yes, she did badly damage their economy in the 5 days she was prime minister. And also the queen died. And then she left, and now they're going to bring Boris back, which I think is very funny.
Yeah. He's kind of, I mean, that is like a British, what's that play? There's a Shakespeare play where, I think King Henry VIII, maybe? One of the king plays.
One of his
where
king plays.
One of the kings he's like,
You're still working on your king plays, Shakespeare? Oh, you're going to do something about normal people.
He should have done more of that, arguably. But,
You should make Seinfeld, Shakespeare.
hey, I mean, they've done Pulp Fiction Shakespeare. I wonder if they could do something.
Shakesfeld.
Ooh, that
That'd
would be
good.
a
Is that a thing, actually?
Instagram account, mashup, like Sign Peaks, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Shakesfeld.
Have you seen?
She doffed her cap.
Have you seen Bard Shakespeare or Bard Fiction?
No, what's Bard
It's
Fiction?
like it does like the rounds at fringe festivals, but it's a Shakespearean version of Pulp Fiction. Like they changed Pulp Fiction, and make it into Queen's English.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I don't know. It kind of
But
sounds like it
there's-
sucks, though.
I mean, it
Instead
depends on what you're
of
into.
being cool.
But there's a Shakespeare play where has orchestrated his becoming king, but then goes through a whole scene where it's like, oh no, I could not. Me, not I cannot become king.
Yeah.
not I don't think. I think someone else should become king. And then they're like, no, sir, it should be you.
be king, my lord.
Yeah, but it would be so funny if someone else was like, "Oh, really? Okay, I'll do it," and then his plans are ruined. But
Alas.
I feel like that's what's going on with Bojo, with Boris.
Right.
Is he's trying to
He's being
he
coy.
staged his own comeback. I mean, that's probably
Much like
likely giving him
Cincinnatus.
too much credit because he would have had to think that all out.
I think he called himself Cincinnatus. Returning to his plow.
Is that
And
what
then
Cincinnatus did?
Back to the throne or whatever Rome had.
Cincinnatus.
Yeah, Cincinnatus.
Is that what Cincinnati's
You're,
named after?
we're in a room full of books. I expect my Cincinnatus reference to be approved.
I don't know if I've read
Put it,
that
I think,
one.
and you know what the thing is? I think he called himself Cincinnatus. So it's not just me saying it. We're all saying this mofo like Cincinnatus, the way he returns to power and it has a weird body.
Cincinnatus is like a philosopher that invented putting
Spaghetti on chili.
spaghetti in your chili in your spaghetti.
I don't owe you an explanation of Lucius Quintius Cincinnatus, the Roman patrician,
Well, you looked up
statesman,
his
and
name.
military leader.
Man, that's a pretty highbrow riff. What are you,
I know,
He says,
Dennis Miller over here?
and yet I'm being accosted by a room full of fools.
he apologizes by saying, please. That's a Cincinnati thing.
Is
Is
it?
that-
Do you know that? I knew that from combing the Cincinnati Wikipedia page, which I would do all the time in my early teens.
all the time?
Yeah, they say
How
What's
much?
your reason for that?
How much could it change? You read it one time, you probably got it right.
well, there's a lot. It's very thick, as most cities are.
I had
But
one
they
shift
have-
where I
oh, no,
worked
it's
at a
not.
suit shop, and I read the entire corn Wikipedia, and that's not short, people.
I bet not. There's, as we'll get to, corn plays an integral role in American life.
I said I want chili in my spaghetti. Does that work?
Right, yeah, instead of this is chili with spaghetti, not spaghetti with chili. I wanted spaghetti with chili.
I don't know anything about Cincinnati. I
What they
only
say-
know Lucius Quintius Cincinnatus.
They do instead of it's not sorry, never mind. It's when you can't hear somebody, most people would go like, "Excuse me, what was that?"
And they go, "Please?"
They go, "Please." Yeah,
That sucks. That's so confusing.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Nobody's doing that.
Please?
That irritates me more than when people call soda pop, which I know is a regional thing, but it just feels wrong to
No,
me.
hey, you and me both, brother. As I said recently on the bonus, I had moved to Minnesota as a kid, and I refused to call it pop.
I will not say the word. I will not use your dirty pop, the current NSYNC song around the time this would be happening.
Pap.
Pabst Blue Ribbon is where it comes from, actually.
No, it's not.
True. That's not true.
It's
Ignore
from
that.
Wisconsin, and that's where they say that.
Sometimes it's a politics podcast where sometimes we lie to you.
Just making shit up left and right.
Okay.
But Britain, I do want to say,
Okay.
it's like torture. Torture. It's like a bird. I'm a bird being tortured. To
I
watch,
regret ever bringing this up.
but isn't it to watch like the Labor Party there is now completely primed to take power. I mean, there's not going to be election.
There's no election unless they call one, though.
Well, they're going to have to do one in, let's see, 5 years from 2019. That'll be 1924. 2024.
2 more years.
Yeah.
Hold it. I know it seems like your empire is crumbling before you. If you can wait till Keir Starmer is premier, maybe we'll turn this around.
Their
God,
election
I hope
rules are
he's
so weird.
I hope he's fucking out of there because it's so frustrating to watch now. You know, after that they purged the left for no reason. I mean, well, for a reason, which is ideological.
To get rid of them is what was the reason.
Right, but politically,
they don't like them.
They did not have to do that. It's actually been bad for the Labor Party. They have lost money because people have left and been kicked out. And under Corbyn's leadership, Labor had way more money because they're because you have to actually pay dues to be in Labor.
You gotta admit, though, it does feel nice as an American to watch another country suck so bad.
Yeah, I mean, they were original.
For 5 seconds. Just stop thinking about the Democrats and make fun of a man named Keir.
Keir Starmer. Yeah, but they feel so close to one another. Like, it's kind of the same. I mean, there's so many similarities.
But it's just not
just compared to
here.
like most countries.
And
in the United
we'll
States.
always have that.
Yeah. I mean, there is the argument, too, that if it was Corbyn still in the driver's seat or Rebecca Long Bailey or Socialist Labor Party, then the markets would be doing fine.
Your natural
because-
instinct to counterfactual is taking over. This is not a real thing that's happening.
It could, though. I mean, maybe they'll get it together and kick Keir out, and there'll be another coup yet again from the left, but I'm not too optimistic about that.
Fingers crossed. Meanwhile, over here, we've got a con coming up, maybe?
How about Keir Starmie? And he's a Pokemon.
And he evolves from Keir Staryu?
Yeah, I think right.
I believe Starmie's the big one. Is that true?
I think Starmie's the purple one.
Shit.
The jewel in the middle
I
of
didn't
it.
know there was a pop quiz on here.
I don't know.
Pop quiz, hotshot. Which one's the big starfish?
I said, bring me a Starmie.
They both shoot laser beams for some reason.
Are we just a Pokemon podcast?
I know.
now?
I just got it on the brain.
He's the one
I
who
don't
said
know why.
Starmie. I didn't do it this time.
That's one of the few animes I actually know pretty well. At least the first wave.
I'm trying so
Pokemon.
hard to pivot to politics again.
What Pokemon? Oh, Snorlax. Okay, Snorlax.
Oh, hell yeah.
Our America's Snorlax
Oh, yeah.
is in the news. He's now actually. This is probably
You see
would
this?
think
You got to play a flute to move him out of the road? Snorlax?
you would think that Steve Bannon would not want to be in jail. But
he a Snorlax?
He is Snorlax.
He's Snorlax?
And I think Snorlax would probably appreciate the peace of mind, the calm, and the
Yeah, because he
away
can
from it all.
sleep.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
Snorlaxes are most comfortable in jail.
That's where they belong.
It's their natural predicament. Also, the Pokeball, let's face it, that's pretty much a jail. You're being
Is it?
condensed into a ball and you live
That's
in the
true.
ball.
Yeah.
Are you? Because I think I've seen some glimpses inside where they're basically like put to sleep.
What glimpses inside have you seen?
Don't they have-
There are no
fuck?
glimpses inside.
Did they not ever show that on the show?
No.
What? That-
Because it's a nightmare.
That is weird, though. Yeah, I mean, if they're awake in there, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, they're like tranquilized and put under anesthesia and like have a small death until they're returned to
they're
fight.
I mean, I remember I, of course, had to come up with what was in there as a kid.
Yes.
I had to think about that. And
It was the 90s. You had to do
you had to come up with something. And I think for a while, my vision was they have like a hamster wheel in there, and they work. It's like a gym, so they're always working out. They're feeding. They're just getting primed and it's like smaller, right? Because they do get smaller.
Sure.
And they turn into energy. Maybe they're just energy. I think is.
You do watch them transform into energy to go into the ball. So Steve Bannon's in jail.
I didn't mean it to detour us so hard into Poketown.
Pallet Town.
Yeah.
Steve Bannon, he's in jail.
Yes.
But
He's in his Pokeball.
he is still moving the pokey strings of our little puppet play,
That's
even
right.
from behind the scenes.
In trying to turn the United States into the society in Pokemon, which
Steve
some would
Bannon,
argue.
go!
Bannon. Bannon Red Scare podcast.
Some would argue, and so I believe there's at least 3 PhD dissertations about this, that the world in Pokemon is a fascist society. That the
I
human world.
believe so. Their political arrangement is somewhat sticky to evaluate. There are mayors. There are businesses. There are police, although the police seem to be made up of one family for at least all of the Kanto region. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of society that is. No one seems to be making money. They're all just fighting all the time.
They have universal health.
Yeah, it sounds fat like a corporatist.
Yeah, like a corporatist
Mussolini.
fascist. Yeah. Maybe Silphco is actually just also in charge of the political orientation of the country. But
I feel like some culture studies doctorate has written about this. But yeah, so this came across my desk yesterday.
I had to hold your meetings.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I moved them over. Andrews gave me a call. He said, "Push my meetings. I'm not going to have time for them now." Get this
Yes,
on my
I
desk.
was marshalling at the New York City DSA convention that they held at a Unitarian church.
ACAB includes Andrews.
Ah, damn. Not in Pokemon, but at this convention, there was a keynote address from Bill Fletcher, longtime DSA member and man of the left, who began his speech by asking, who here has heard about the Constitutional Convention that's going on, that could happen?
Big pop in
And-
the room.
Yeah, a lot of people. There was
People
like a
losing their
pause.
minds.
Well, yeah, it was, and I honestly don't. But he was like, "Show of hands." I honestly cannot tell you if I raised my hand or not because my thoughts were the same as everybody else's, which is like, maybe I've heard of that. It's kind of
Right.
like when somebody asks you about a band,
It's like when
And
somebody
you're
asks
like-
you what happens in the Pokeballs.
like that too. Yeah, you want
like,
to
I
seem
think I know.
like you're in on it. Yeah. Like, have you heard of this band? And you want to say, I think I have heard of them, possibly, maybe.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying like yes or no. And I don't remember what I read because I was like, maybe I've heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people raised their hands after a second.
Just to be cool.
Maybe they were just being cool, or
So
maybe
sad.
they were actually up on it. But upon further reflection, I did not know the level of detail that one probably should about this situation. You know, maybe I've heard, we've all heard whispers about Constitutional Convention. When you say those words, doesn't necessarily sound like a bad thing. That's what they're doing in Chile, and it's sort of like a
I remember we were voting on whether to do one in New York a few years ago.
right. And I voted for that actually
Right.
because it's New York, and yes,
You can change a lot of laws very quickly at a con, but also you can get washed by the people with money
Right.
who suddenly advertise all the crazy
Yeah.
things they want and then get them.
which is why that got voted down at the same time. I mean, I remember at the time the argument, I ended up voting for it because it's like the state constitution sucks anyway,
Yeah.
so we might as well just give it a shot to try and get a better one. because New York is so restrictive.
But this would be for a national constitutional convention?
Yes, the United States is not as bad as New York is. It's no United States of America.
Yeah, I'm always saying that.
It's one of the states.
It is.
You got to admit that. It's New York.
Some people
specifically.
don't want to, actually, and that's what this is kind of about. They might kick New York out, maybe. But
Oh, no.
this is... So this is a...
You'd lose a lot of money kicking New York out.
True. But this is an effort going on, and I don't even know that I'm against a constitutional convention in general, but you would need the requisite, movement power on the left for that to be a good thing.
Which we do not have.
Right.
Okay.
And if there was one that would happen now, all the political money is basically on one side, and they, would
Want to
determine...
eliminate American democracy.
Right.
To the extent it even exists now.
Yeah.
And so you were saying Steve Bannon was pushing for this while he was, in the White House. And now that he's in jail, he's somehow still a kraken at it.
Yeah, I don't know what he's
Plan
doing.
is coming together.
He's mostly just tapping his fingers together in a little clam shape. You know what I'm talking about?
Like the spider said to the fly.
He's waiting till people come to his cell and he's telling them riddles. That's how you move a plan along.
But so this was written, I think, before he went to jail. But in The Guardian, there's an article by Ed Pilkington about...
Anglo names.
Yeah. About this...
Rumble Thumber Batch.
So there is this guy...
Fluke Carrington.
Attempt number 4.
Seymour Nottingshire.
Sentence attempted number 6. Can I do it?
Go on.
This guy actually sounds like...
Billy Codfish.
Christopher Jones.
Okay, that's it. I'm not doing anymore.
Mark Meckler, which you would have gotten to eventually.
Sure.
Is a
time.
founder of the Tea Party who is now the head of Convention of States Action, or COSA, which is the first word in Cosa Nostra.
Tell me
think
God
about it.
didn't have a plan.
So he said on Bannon's show, his podcast that he does, we need to say constitutionally, no, the federal government cannot be involved in education or healthcare or energy or the environment. They're going to have a council convention to just try and take away all of those things that the government does on the federal level.
What would that even mean? Just like we open up national parks, like you can make a McDonald's in Yellowstone now?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he goes on to just admit, and they're pretty open about this, that this is an anti-democratic, small d, democratic agenda. And he says the problem is when the administration goes back to Democrat or radical progressive or Marxist, which is what they are.
When it
he
goes
says.
back to Marxist
Yeah.
in America.
There are people who were saying, Obama, we are in socialism right now.
Right.
And then, there's this brief. It's just such a fanciful, we go back and forth between socialism and capitalism, depending on who the president is.
When Obama wore that tan suit, that was the indication.
Right.
He was turning to Marx.
Yeah. So they're lamenting that they're going to lose all the gains that are administered through the executive branch when, it switches from Republican to Democrat. So you do the structural fix, is what he says. And that involves legislatures, state legislatures, which have been trending Republican for a very long time, or a little over a decade. But, back then, in 2010, there were 14 states that were controlled by Republicans. That was it. Obama had just come into office, and then...
Marxism was the lay of the land.
Right. Or, most places I would guess were divided. There was, one state house was Republican, was Democrat, and the governor was another. So it was like a mixed thing, but there were not that many that were unified one way or the other. Now, the number of state houses controlled by Republicans is 31, which is most of the country. And they're going to try, to get a constitutional convention to happen, you have to have these state legislatures voted in.
So essentially, like every state would just individually vote on this, and then that would trigger it?
Yeah, if you do 2/3 majority, so it would need to be 34 states. And right now, Republicans control 30.
Oh,
So
damn.
we're pretty fucking close
Oh, no.
to a fascist country.
Well, hope they don't get that together, because my man is Snorlax.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Yeah, it's scary. It's definitely something to keep an eye on because, we can talk about how the far right has fallen out of favor in the eyes of a lot of Americans. They're alienating people, and, social conservatism in many ways has gotten less popular, although some would argue it's making a comeback. But none of that really matters because they're not really trying to do this by democratic means.
No, they're
anyway.
kind of dunking on us. They overturned abortion like 3 months ago.
Right.
They're kind of on a huge hot streak right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bummer. And I think we could all use some cheering up. So why don't we talk to a guy about what's going on in Haiti for a while?
Oh, God. I feel so terrible today. The news is just making it worse.
Yeah. Yes. So, the nation of Haiti is it's actually on a country that's, or what's the island called? That's both Haiti and DR.
Hispaniola.
I was going to say that, but that sounded wrong.
Piratey.
But, yeah,
Like something a pirate says.
that's right. It sounds like could be a Pokemon trainer's island. Or
It's
something.
not.
No, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, who wants to do the segue? Because I intro him, so it might be weird to have me segue into my own intro. But
I think it would be
I think we
fine.
should
All right.
just cut it after you said who wants to do this segue and then put it in the interview.
Oh, should I stop recording now?
Yeah, well,
we're
why don't
gonna
you stop
go-
recording and then we'll do a little ending.
okay. Oh yeah, let's do that.
Okay. And now, Pascal Robert. Damn. All right, we're recording. All right, here we are.
All right, we are joined by Pascal Robert from the This Is Revolution podcast, also attorney at law. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me. I'm not practicing law right now, though, but that's okay. I usually get that mischaracterization.
But don't you get
Pascal Robert, judge, jury, and executioner.
It's okay.
to? Do you still retain the title though, even if you're not?
No,
practicing?
not practicing. No.
Oh, okay, so
I
it's
didn't
not
know that's
like
how that worked.
you have to call somebody a senator if they were only there for like 1 year or something.
Is Daredevil still an attorney when he's Daredevil?
I mean, he doesn't advertise it, but if somebody asked him, I think he would.
If
have
they
to
could
answer.
ask him a question, yeah, he
Yeah.
would be able to elucidate a full response legally.
But we are talking today about a situation going on in Haiti, which is a place we last checked in on, I guess, about 1.5 years ago after the assassination of the president.
Things seemed like they were going so well.
Right.
What happened?
Whatever happened got buried in the news media here in the United States. So I guess we should begin, Pascal, by filling us in on what has occurred over the past year in Haiti, because I assume it hasn't been going swimmingly. But what are sort of the bullet points for understanding the situation there?
Well, the major bullet point that has to be recognized by most audiences in the West is that the immediate consequence of the Jovenel Moïse assassination, Jovenel Moïse, who was the president that was killed at the behest of a variety of questionable actors, some believe that it was done by the Haitian oligarchy at the behest or with at least knowledge of the United States, in collusion with international mercenaries that caused his assassination in July of 2021. The United States basically put in a provisional government that was unelected by the Haitian people without their mandate to govern the affairs in the country, hopefully trying to rein in protests that people were demonstrating because of not only the assassination of the president, but because they felt that they were not democratically having their desires being met by who was governing their affairs. Haiti hasn't had elections pretty much in 6 years. So as a result, the United States put in another puppet regime to do their building to govern the Haitian, as an act of imperialism, if you will, to govern the affairs of the Haitian people without them having any say what's going on. One of the things that's been a major problem is that in the wake of the vacuum of a stable governing power that had the mandate of the people, we have this phenomenon of gang activity on the island, where you have these kind of paramilitary gangs. Many people assume that they are being financed by the Haitian oligarchy, and we should talk about the Haitian oligarchy and what it is and how it works as well, as a matter of fact, who are being financed by the Haitian oligarchy to create political instability on the island, and they're being used to basically protect some of their business interests as well. Because the question becomes, who else has the money to provide kids from inner city peasant gang, locations, $5,000 arms per shot, in terms of a country that's supposedly as poor as Haiti is? So there's a strong correlation with the belief that the oligarchy, which are the corporate elite of Haiti, who are, even though they do have Haitian passports and are Haitian citizens, they are not actually ethnically Haitian. Many of them have their origins going back to Syria and Lebanon, going back to the early 20th century, late 19th century, when they came into Haiti as a result of troubles with the Ottoman Empire and Germany. And the United States has been buttressing that class of individuals by using them as an economic kind of bulwark against the development of any other kind of economic stable group in Haiti. And they have been the preferred trading partner of record with the U.S., going back to the U.S. occupation of Haiti in 1915.
Yeah, well, on that note, it sounds like one of the, I guess, enemies, and sort of a boogeyman for the United States, someone we've sanctioned now, is Jimmy Barbecue, is
right.
What he goes by. And there's been a lot of questions surrounding him, whose side he's really on. Is he, doing something that is contrary and anathema to the Haitian bourgeoisie? Is he perhaps more in alignment with them? What's sort of the constellation of forces in this gang war?
There's a lot of really bizarre kind of attempts to paint the Jimmy Barbecue Shea. He's a former police officer, head of the G9 gang. Some people are trying to paint him as a modern day Robin Hood, as some people are trying to say he's some kind of almost Che Guevara, Castro-esque revolutionary figure. I'm not in line with that. I just basically look at him as a thug who's a mercenary for hire. I don't particularly think that Jimmy Cherizier is a threat to the oligarchs, because I think that he works at the behest of certain segments of the oligarchs who have the capacity to be funding his weapons. Who else is going to have the money to give him the money to buy the arms that he has to maintain one of the two most powerful gangs in the country, if it's not one of the forces of the oligarchy? Perhaps one of the former political parties in the country? That's possible as well. But I'm not absolutely sure to say that he is completely as antagonistic to the Haitian oligarchy as people say. My position has always been that the affairs on the ground on Haiti are still largely being controlled by the Haitian oligarchy, and the United States is tired of the chaos, but is not prepared to really completely, absolutely abdicate its role as the overseer of record of the affairs on the island.
I believe Jimmy Barbecue should be an elected position for whoever's most nice on the grill.
Well, that's actually a good question. If there were to be elections, do you think Jimmy Barbecue would stand for election? And
I don't think he has the credibility on the national front that he could stand for elections to be given a political office. I mean, that would be, talk about a turn of events.
Right.
But the problem is that the civil society in the country has been so corroded because of the terror as a result of the gangs, that who knows what kind of, a fraudulent election could give you any kind of result.
Yeah, and you mentioned the U.S.'s hand in all this. Right now, there's talk of money and weapons going in there, but troops, potentially, American troops
correct.
Going to Haiti. How likely do you think that is, and what kind of response would they be met with?
I think that this is a very, very, very sensitive question, because the United States has an abysmal history of getting involved in Haitian affairs. I'm sure you guys remember a few months back, there was a massive, massive outlay in the New York Times that talked about the history of the U.S. occupation in Haiti going back from 1915 to 1934, the various times that the U.S. has in the last 60 some odd years, there's been 3 different times we've had occupying forces in the country at the behest of the United States that have been disastrous. One of the major occupying forces that we had brought cholera to the country, as well as was raping young women on the island as well that came in through the United Nations. So there is a long history of very, very negative consequences of not only U.S. occupation, but international forces or UN forces being brought at the behest of the U.S. and the core group. The core group is a consortium of embassies of foreign nationals that help in concert with the United States to basically govern the affairs of Haiti. They include France, Spain, the United States, Canada, and a few other countries. And the core group in the United States have had a very noxious relationship with this concept called Haitian sovereignty. So I think it would be disastrous ultimately for the U.S. to actually get involved. But one of the things that I'm seeing right now, I was reading in a report in a Caribbean newspaper, they might let a CARICOM country come in and actually do the dirty work on the ground. People are talking about Bahamas is now preparing to send Marines to Haiti right now as we speak. So I think that there's a possibility that one of the alternatives the U.S. might take is to use a lesser Caribbean neighboring country to do the actual policing as opposed to sending in its own armed forces.
We're already sending in like APCs, military technology, military vehicles already over to the government forces now too, right? So I guess it's just how much you can get out of that.
To allegedly shore up the support of the police.
Right. Didn't also Canada send in some planes and stuff?
Recently, Canada sent in a couple of planes that were shown on the island as well. So this is all kind of worrying a lot of people. A lot of Haitians are worried that there is a kind of constellation of forces coming together to reoccupy the country.
Well, and that segues nicely into my next question, which is CARICOM. Can you explain what that is and
Sure.
how that?
CARICOM is a consortium of about 15 Caribbean nations that has started since the 1970s that work together to maintain a certain consensus in terms of diplomatic policy vis-a-vis what's going on in the Caribbean. Unfortunately, relative to Haiti, which is a CARICOM member since 2002, CARICOM has been kind of a intermediary for U.S. State Department policy and Haiti, and in a way that did not work to the advantage of the Haitian people, but generally they helped facilitate the exigencies of what was coming out of the State Department in terms of demands of the Haitian population politically.
This is just a clarifying question, just to clear up anything for listeners who haven't been looking into this, but can you speak a little bit more about the situation on the ground right now? There's some gang is like holding a port going into the country or something.
Right. I've actually been, it's because there's so much that changes. Because don't forget, there are large segment. People are always talking about the gang activity, but people forget that there are citizens that have been protesting the government at the same time this is happening. There are large-scale protests of the actual government. So I'm kind of been watching what's going on with the protests because it's very easy to constantly focus on the gang activity. But last time I heard that there was actually a gang war between 2 factions of gangs, G9 and another major faction, where they're actually warring over a port in the Port-au-Prince area. I was reading that, as a matter of fact, yesterday. I got a news update about that.
The long and short of it, from a distance, just seems like there's like a complete power vacuum over there since the puppet regime is like in shambles. Is that kind of what's happening?
Well, I think that pretty much that's the problem because there's never been an effort to support or buttress a strong democratic elected governance in Haiti, even under Aristide, which was undermined by 2 coups sponsored by the United States in the West and France and Canada, that made sure that the elected official that was most chosen by the Haitian people did not have a chance of succeeding. As a consequence, there has been this constant belief that there is a need to undermine democracy in Haiti because what comes out of that is something that is not best for the business interests in the country. Don't forget, we have a lot of sweatshops that are based on paying with a horrible, I don't even want to call them minimum wages, sub-minimum wages to Haitian workers. And one of the constant clarion calls to many of the Haitian elected officials who are trying to work in line with the peasant class or the majority of the population is to increase the rate of pay in these sweatshops. That gets into a lot of international problems with the U.S., with companies that do business in Haiti, that manufacture underwear, all kinds of clothes. As a matter of fact, if you read WikiLeaks, WikiLeaks demonstrated that Hillary Clinton was trying to oppose minimum wage increases in Haiti. So there's a lot of actors who have always been interested in trying to control the direction and the sovereignty of the country. And the U.S., because of some of its economic interests as well as geostrategic interests, has been unfortunately facilitating that demise of democracy as well.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like for the global bourgeoisie, but especially North American and Caribbean bourgeoisie, they cannot let the genie out of the bottle in terms of democracy in Haiti, because that would be very bad for the bottom line in many ways. But something I was kind of surprised to see, maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but disappointed nonetheless, in AMLO, Mexico's president, seems to be sort of supporting the American line on Haiti. Is that the case? And could you speak to maybe some of his
Yes, I've been reading about that as well. How has AMLO as well? I mean, there's like some history as to some left countries that basically kind of didn't carry over the leftism in terms of Haiti policy. Lula in Brazil, his leaders, some of the military in Brazil were some of the actual major forces of the MINUSTA UN forces in Haiti that engaged in some of the most egregious of offenses to the Haitian people. Not only that, AMLO is signing off on U.S. policy in Haiti as well. This is not a new thing. And sadly, I think that what happens is that AMLO has to worry about the reality of Haitian immigrants coming into his country as a result of possible migration issues. So I think he might be playing some kind of realpolitik where he's looking at the short end consequence of him, whether or not he wants to side with the sovereignty of Haiti or whether or not he wants to side with the imperial power of the U.S. And it's kind of sad because Haiti helped Mexico get its independence. It's a pretty kind of tragic reality that we're in, that we've come to this point.
And what is the reason for that? Is that, I mean, some people might jump to a racial analysis that, Haiti is not, the cause, not a cause taken up because of anti-blackness, or what are some of the historical reasons for the left in countries like Brazil or Mexico and the United States?
Well, there's some. It's not a comprehensive analysis because Venezuela has always been stood by the side of Haiti through the hardships. We have a very long and positive relationship with Venezuela. They helped a great deal during our periods of economic, difficulty as well. But I think in the case of Mexico and AMLO and Lula, I think it's because the politics that they have with the United States makes them a little bit more precarious in terms of their capacity to demonstrate independence on the Haiti issue, and also because they're worried about immigration issues on their own, of Haitians coming into their own country. They may be a little bit more willing to be hardline on the issue as well.
Mm. Well, that makes me, want to go back to this question a little bit. If there were a strong democracy in Haiti, of the kind we've seen slight glimpses of throughout history, what would that portend? What kind of system would that be, and what would the ramifications be for the global economy?
I think that would require a large-scale incorporation of the Haitian peasant class into the choosing of its elected officials. It would require economically incorporating them into the functioning of the nature of the economy. I think it would definitely have to be one in which the economy could not be rooted in an imperialist international capitalist form that's really rooted exclusively in wealth extraction. It would have to democratize our resource allocation in a way that we're building infrastructure, schools, housing, agricultural development, hospitals, so that this class of people who have been neglected since the end of the Haitian Revolution finally can get incorporated back into feeling like part of the citizenry of the Haitian population.
Yeah, it's something that it sounds like definitely not on the table if you are the Biden administration, for instance. But what are some of the ways they're like rationalizing this? I know they have a spokesperson now who is deployed to speak on a lot of these issues quite often. I think perhaps quite cynically, Karine Jean-Pierre, who seems like anytime there's an issue with just Latin America in general, but especially like Caribbean countries, she gives the press conference and defends the American line. What are some of the ways they're trying to rationalize U.S.
I think
policy?
the main rationalization is that we have to maintain security and stability and protect the interests of the citizens on the ground from the dangers of the gangs. I think that they're using that language when, in fact, the United States and its imperialist hand are part of the reason we've gotten this position in the first place by you putting in all of these puppet regimes, including the Jovenel Moise regime, by the way, who was not democratically elected, going back to Michel Martelly, going back to the facilitating the removal of Aristide. So there's a long history going back of the U.S. playing hands in Haiti elections that caused all of this house of cards collapsing right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're talking. This is a while ago, but I read this book about Smedley Butler, which came out recently, and he's thought of as kind of a hero among the left United States, and not for no reason. He turned against imperialism, but in Haiti, he's known as like the devil because of what he did to the Haitian people. Introduced, I think, Corvair.
The Corvée system, which was an economic labor, almost kind of like semi-slavery labor tactic during the U.S. occupation. He also had his hand in the assassination of a very well-beloved Perrault, who was a Haitian freedom fighter who was in the Cacos Rebellion. So, yeah, Smedley Butler doesn't have that same kind of sheen as a great kind of individual or figure in Haitian history.
And he's still remembered today there, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious, like, in Haiti, we've been talking about the Haitian people as sort of as problematic as it is to sort of generalize about a people. But how do you think most Haitians feel about the current situation? Because I think
on the ground, a lot of Haitians are definitely not interested in having U.S. occupation, but they are concerned with the security caused by the gang crises, and they want to go back to a quality of life where they don't have to worry about the gang issue at all. But at the same time, the fear of the problems and the constant persistence of the looming U.S. occupation is something that many do not want to tolerate. But we can't essentialize a whole group of people.
Yeah, how do they feel about it? Not good. They feel bad.
Well, yeah, and this is coming after, the past year. Of course, there were those photos that circulated of, literal horseback riding security forces in the United States rounding up Haitian immigrants and sending them back to Haiti. I'm sure that didn't do a great job in PR for the United States.
It wasn't great advertising, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's true.
But I did want to ask you about here in New York over the past week. There was around 60 demonstrators over on Eastern Parkway, mostly Haitian New Yorkers, who were demonstrating against U.S. involvement. They're in the United States, but they are against the U.S. government getting involved in Haiti further. Where, do you see a potential for a grassroots movement there? And we're on the quote unquote left, but how do we sort of build a coalition, perhaps, with people from the Haitian diaspora or other parts of people from that part of the world who are in the United States and oppose U.S. imperialism and share a lot of the same values we do? But it seems like there's not a lot of integration there.
It's a very good point. It's a very good question. I think that there's certain organizations that we should look out. The Black Alliance for Peace is an organization that has a very good record in terms of its concern with issues in Haiti, where people should reach out to them. I think Komakoda, which is another Haitian organization in Brooklyn that is actually very effective in trying to challenge U.S. imperialism in Haiti. There are organizations that are doing the work. But again, just like any society, Haiti has a complicated class tier, and you'll find there are some Haitians who may actually not necessarily be wanting to challenge the U.S. Occupation. So the key is to make sure people are in line with the politics of the socialist left that you're talking about. And there are several organizations who will be willing to do that.
If you were a betting man, okay, so let's say there's miraculously no intervention of like actual troops coming in. How do you think the situation resolves? Like, what do you think would happen in a world where we're not getting boots on the ground?
I think that the United States, even though we don't send U.S. boots on the ground, they might try to send some other neighboring foreign power to come in if things get more violent.
So there's no world where this country is not about to get invaded in some way.
I mean, even if it doesn't get invaded, how do we deal with the vacuum of the political leadership of Ali Lee, who is completely legitimate as a leader of the country? What I would like to see is to find some way, and I know this is difficult to assess, to get an intermediary coalition government that with a direct mandate to host an election that is respected by the parties on the ground within a year, and find some kind of way to get a security force to deal with the gangs while we orchestrate at least a democratic election within a year with some kind of provisional government. I don't know how effective that can be done, though.
I think it's going to be Canada that's sending boots on the ground. It's about time they have their own, imperial war.
Yeah, they need a faux pas. They're out of the news right now.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about Canada.
Trudeau could use just a bloodbath.
He could use some blood on his hands.
Yeah. I mean, he has some indirectly, but I think he probably...
More than people know, Canada has definitely some imperialist links to Haitian history, without a doubt.
Right. Because, they always talk about the Canadian-Cuban relationship, but what's some of the history there with?
Canada was one of the ones that signed the Ottawa Accord of 2003, which gave the green light to the U.S. as well as France occupying Haiti in 2004 for the Aristide coup.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, Aristide is an example of somebody who was. I mean, Bill Clinton can kind of he tries to take credit for putting Aristide back in power, but there's obviously a lot more to that sort of story that gets overlooked. Like, what should people remember about Clinton's role in?
Well, the Clintons have a dubious role with Aristide, because at the same time that they brought Aristide back when he was unfortunately taken out by a Bush-sponsored coup d'etat in 91, they brought him back where he, under the guise of having to sign on to massive neoliberal structural agreement packages that robbed and raped and pillaged the Haitian state coffers of its assets.
Yeah.
It also allowed some of Bill Clinton's homies to line his pockets with Haitian state assets, revenue from Haitian state assets as well.
And the American rice, I think it was rice, the industry.
Bill Clinton also helped shut down domestic rice production in Haiti so that he can send in Arkansas homeboys to fill it up with their domestic rice production, causing a famine in Haiti where you literally had people having to eat dirt sandwiches.
God. Yeah, that American rice, I bet it's not as good either as homegrown Haitian rice.
It's all corn.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Probably. Don't look into it. Well, that's what's going on in Haiti.
Yeah,
right
as we're wrapping up here, any closing thoughts? Anything people should really take away?
I think people should realize that it's about time that the West allowed the Haitian people to have some kind of sovereign, democratic elected government that can respond to the will of the people, and that they can, if you can, please try to get your governments to try to stay out of the affairs of the Haitian people as much as possible and allow them to rectify the issues on their own.
You heard it here first. Call your reps. Tell them hands off Haiti. Even if you're not in the United States, especially if you're in Canada, call up the libs, Trudeau, tell him, no way, Jose.
Call your libs.
Pascal, where can people find your work and follow you?
Sure. I'm at This Is Revolution podcast on YouTube and all your relevant podcast apps. You can find my work at Black Agenda Report, Pascal Robert. Also, some of my work is at Newsweek. You can find my work at Huffington Post. Google my name. I've been all over the internet. Been writing for a while.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. And that was Pascal Robert telling us about what's going on in Haiti.
Feeling good.
And it was a bummer.
I learned a lot.
I said I wanted
Feels good to learn.
Good vibes.
Good vibes only. Yeah, we really gave him a dressing down after the interview ended. We told him the vibes were off.
No.
Unfortunately, that's what you get this week. You get the vibes you're given, and you'll like it.
Accurately reporting a thing that is bad vibes. He was not bad vibes. Oh.
Well, some of the best vibes I've ever seen.
Hey, man, you're not signing up for the Sunshine Gazette podcast.
That's right.
Unrelated, I will be starting the Sunshine Gazette for Patreon subscribers at the $10 tier. That's a Gazette. It's mailed right to your house.
Is that an actual paper? I said that thinking that's
you said it so confidently.
Well, like positive news. It's news about how, like, hey, man, everything's nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
today.
little drawings in crayon. It's the Sunshine Gazette. There's a lot of fun stuff in there.
I think it's
There's
actually
poems.
a.
Puppies were born today.
There's one bit. It always has one blank page at the end, and there's like a little footnote at the bottom that's like, Alex gave this a kiss, just for you.
Just for you.
I think it's a newspaper in Florida, so
Wow.
probably not very.
It won't be around much longer.
Is that the Sunshine
not-
State?
Because it's the
Yeah,
Sunshine
yeah,
State.
Sunshine Gazette. So probably not very happy news.
It is-
Actually, you know what? It's probably really fucked up because they have the Sunshine Law there, which is that anything that happens legally, like arrests or anything like that, are automatically, what do you call it, like open public information. That's why, like, Florida man stories exist, because you could just
because you
sit
can
there
read
and-
about everyone's arrest.
Yeah, you just skim through everything that happened that week and just find all the fucked up shit that wouldn't get reported on. So Sunshine Gazette's probably actually fucked up, dude. It's probably about people eating each other's faces and shit like that, taking bath salts, you know?
So it could be every state that has Florida men of some sort.
Right, yeah, it's like a miss. I mean, Florida, not to take away from its rich culture that does lead to fucked up shit happening. It's just it also has that happening at the same time.
Right, right.
Behind closed doors, we're all Florida men. And this is the beginning of my plug section. For $10, the Sunshine Gazette will be sent to your house. Make sure to send that to me, and then do not follow up on that. Don't look into it. So go ahead and give me $10. Check out my new podcast where I read Quoras with Jeremy Kaplowitz. It's called Quorators, which is Quorators. A bunch of people say they don't know how to spell it or find it online, and that's how it's spelled.
Orators.
Quorators.
Quorators.
And
Sounds like a Pokemon.
That's
I
all-
choose you, Quorators.
Just stop bringing up Pokemon. I'm done. That's it. That's it for me.
At Andersley here on Twitter, Darsley on Instagram. I just published part 2, finally published the second part of my counterfactual short story about World War I had the Russians not signed Brest-Litovsk. So after the Russian Revolution, had they gone on fighting the German, and then the Western powers, what would have happened? Would revolution have spread across the world? I have 2 scenarios laid out for you that you can read on my Substack, which we'll link to. And also, my other plug, sign up for our Patreon. We got some fun stuff, a lot of Pokemon content also on our latest one about the late, great Paul Wellstone, whose
Milestone.
death just occurred 20 years ago, Tuesday. Also, we have a new member you can interact with of our Patreon. Mr. Theo Chino has joined. After saying he would refuse to give us money, he finally caved after like a month of just stewing, I guess, and he's signed up. And
He wanted to hear the episode you did about him.
Yeah,
That's right.
He listened to the shit out of it.
It gave us notes. He gave us feedback. And you can interact with him if you join our Patreon. He's, a local legend in New York City.
Living legend.
Politics.
Yeah. Theo, get in the Discord and make some friends, man.
Get in the robot, Theo. Jake, do you have anything?
My plugs are that I'm going to go lay down and have a nice afternoon and take a nap.
Come be Jake's big spoon.
Do it. I'm starting a show soon, but I don't have the details to announce yet.
You'll never know where this is or what it is or when it is.
Keep an ear out. It's coming. I'm going to do jokes again. But first, time to go turn into a goddamn Snorlax.
Nice. Steve Bannon.
It's finished.